Hello beautiful wild hearts, my name is Evonne Wildheart and welcome to the Cycle Report for the 15th of August 2019. I come to you from Dja Dja Wurrung country in Central Highlands, Victoria, Australia in the Southern Hemisphere. Last week, for those who are following me, my family and I were on a boat up in Garbi country in Queensland on Imbolc. So Imbolc, exactly the astrological date was on the 8th of August. The traditional date would be the 2nd of August or the 1st of August. But I deliberately chose to, put in the good dreams particularly on Imbolc Day, to call in big stuff for the next 12 months, for joy and happiness and being out in nature in the wild. And while we were out on the boat, we had a beautiful mama and her baby calf whale, humpback whale, swim under our boat, which was extraordinary. And I remembered afterwards, after I'd done the post, that of course there was a mama and a baby calf swinging on a boat at Imbolc, because this is the time of birth. 3 a.m. is the equivalent to Imbolc, still very much in the darkness, but it's when a lot of people die and a lot of people are born. And not only when a baby is born, a mother is also born as well. So it is a rite of passage. Birth is a rite of passage. And it's moving from something of like in a womb space into something very, very, very different. And the same with the mama. So, and this is my area that I love so much, and I have a very special interest in this area, is the transformation and the rite of passage of the mama as also with the baby, and the death that needs to happen at that point to move forward in a whole expression of it. So, my interest, I guess, is the death of the maiden. So if we haven't, honoured her in the maiden and collected the seeds and let her go, we carry her with our mothering. So we can never fully be an expression of the mama until we let go of the maiden self of us. Just as a baby cannot be born on this earth realm if she still sits in the womb. There needs to be a clear death to move through to the rite of passage. Now, that doesn't always happen, and what happens at these thresholds or these rites of passage informs us of what is to come. So, as my teacher, Jane Hardwicke Collings always says, whatever happens at the rite of passage, whether it be birth, menarche, motherhood, menopause, death, informs us of the next thing that's to come. So if we have a traumatic birth with our baby, or we have a traumatic birth ourselves born, that will inform us. So how we were treated during those times informs us what's to come, or how society views us in this new space that we're moving into. So, and of course, also trusting the process in this. So we always have the birth that we're meant to have, but trying to find the medicine in that, and, gathering the seeds so we can move forward in a healed and whole way, and full expression of ourselves. So this is what Imbolc is about, that death, rebirth, expansion into the next phase. It's a very clear point in the cycle. It's the cross quarter. In the northern hemisphere, they're just past Lammas, so they are moving into the descent into the more yin space of the inner, into their harvest. So they've just had their first harvest festival, which was Lammas. Ducks. So behind me we have acacia, and it is fully flowering here now, finally, which represents, to me, it feels like the sun is like, get excited, the sun is on its way, the earth is warming up. It's also it holds a masculine energy of, which, I was thinking about this, and it's like the masculine of the moving out and expanding into the outer world. The masculine represents the outer world, the yin represents our inner world. So it represents us moving out and out into what's to come, coming up in the summer, in the warmer months, as we go out and be more social and less more in the inner space, but more in the outer space. And then once summer solstice hits, we start to come in again. So yes, the wattle. So today is a full moon space. So we are in a full moon space here, with full moon kicking in at 10:39 p.m, around about that time this evening. So now's the time, if you're listening to this before that time, now's the time to get out there and say your full moon prayers. What's been illuminated in your life right now is what needs to be looked at. This full illumination, and also, to call in your prayers of, one thing, not a shopping list, that, what's the one thing that you want fully illuminated in your life, and ask for ease and gentleness, because, we may ask for, joy and happiness, but what shows up is actually what's in the way of joy and happiness. So if we call in, I give thanks for joy and happiness with gentle ease, that feels a lot softer, and it's not so much may not be such a bombardment of what's stopping you from being joyful and happiness. I am in the dark moon. So we have a dark moon coming up on the 30th of August. So after tonight, we start to move into a descent phase of this second moon cycle of this 12 months of this earth cycle, if that makes sense. So it's starting the what's coming up in the harvest of this moon cycle. So if you think back to the new moon a couple of weeks ago, what was happening then? We're coming up to see it fully illuminated, and now, after tonight, it's the descent and it's the harvest of that phase. And with the dark moon on the 30th, which is the deep dark, with all our seeds collected in our basket and letting go what no longer serves to move into the next cycle. I am personally on day 28, so I am waiting to bleed. How am I experiencing this is that I have very low tolerance for fuckery. I can, people are annoying me at the moment, especially people who are just still using lots of plastic and really unconscious shopping. It was just fucking driving me nuts when I was in the supermarket recently, just today. It was like I don't even know why I bothered going. I can't even talk. So I'm really, my brain is moving in, and I just really want to be in my body. I'm also about to head on a solo this weekend, which is very exciting, which is exactly what I need. And I'm going to sit on the land in which I live on for 4 days, 3 nights and 4 days, fasting, and just to sit and have deep commune with the land here and see what comes up. So I'll probably talk a little bit about that next week. And in preparation for the 4SJ Victoria 4 Seasons Journey Wilderness Solo in a couple of weeks, which will be on the dark moon. So preparing myself for that, and this is a part of my preparation. So to help hold the women as they go and do this as well, which is so freaking exciting that there is amazing people out there doing this work, to show way showers, to bring a collective consciousness and rise the vibration of this earth, because what I see around and what I've really noticed in this harvest hasn't been too I have no words, like I can't really, some people love to you all, and I know people are not, they don't know, and I get that, but in my day 28 it's just intolerable and unforgivable, but that will change, and I'll be back into love and loving people, who they are, soon. So I hope that's all made sense. My day 28 brain. Yeah, that's all I got. From my heart to your beautiful hearts on this full moon, may you feel love and deeply held. Thank you for listening. Bye.